No walls to tear down. No cities to crumble. Just words. And behind them something more dangerous. You, Homelander. I've studied gods. I've crushed symbols. But you wear power like a child in his father's coat. Tell me, do you even know who stitched it?
Wow, big guy reads. I always figured you for more. Break spines first, monologue later. But here we are. You in your mask, me in mine. Let's drop the riddles. You came to see what I'm made of. Spoiler alert, it's something your kind could never manufacture. Perfection.
Perfection without principle is hollow, Homelander. I broke a city to reveal its soul. You scorch it from orbit and wonder why the ashes don't applaud. You fly above the world, but you've never touched its weight. The air thins up there, doesn't it? Perhaps that's why your morality is so light.
You want to talk morality? I'm not interested in bedtime stories and broken orphans. I keep people safe. That's more than your chaos ever did. You don't inspire fear, you romanticize it. Me? I walk into a room and the temperature changes. That's power. Raw, immediate, no mask of revolution required.
But fear without depth is theater. I inspire fear because I understand it. You demand it because you're terrified of being ignored. I didn't need a cape, or cameras, or handlers. I had conviction. You have scripts. I shattered Gotham's spine. You shatter screens when your ratings dip.
Ratings built the world we live in, buddy. You think strength is what you lift? I can crush you before your next breath. But I don't. You know why? Optics. I understand the game. The people love me, even when they hate me. And you're just a chapter in someone else's footnote.
Power that fears perception is already caged. You speak of control, but you answer to boardrooms. You punch through walls, but not without approval. I moved underground, unseen, until the moment was ripe. You glow in daylight, yet stumble in silence. When the applause stops, so do you.
No, I start when the applause stops. That's when I feel most alive. When they're quiet. When they look up and remember who I am. You think hiding in shadows makes you real? I built a nation's image on my smile. You built a crater. Let's see which one outlasts the echo.
The echo fades faster when the foundation was fake. Yours is a house of mirrors. Glorious, yes, but shatter one pane, and the illusion crumbles. I didn't give people what they wanted. I gave them truth. And truth, Homelander, does not need approval. It only needs the courage to speak itself into ruin.
You speak like a poet. Cute, but I wasn't built to whisper in the ruins. I was engineered to dominate. You want truth? Here's one. I don't need to be loved. I just need them to need me. And they always do. No matter how many buildings fall, I'm still the guy they call.
Need bred from fear is not loyalty. It is survival disguised as admiration. I've seen empires kneel to tyrants, not out of love, but necessity. When that need ends, so does your reign. I was never adored, yet men followed. Not because they feared I'd kill them, but because they believed I already could.
You think control through belief is cleaner? It's the same game, Bane, just less efficient. I save people on live TV while you lecture from the rubble. I don't need to be the better man, just the last one standing. When the world's on fire, they won't ask who was noble. They'll ask who survived.
Survival alone is animal. Victory must mean something, or it is simply appetite dressed in armor. You, Homelander, are a wolf wearing a crown. But every howl reveals the child underneath. The one that still begs for applause after blood has drenched the cape. You aren't worshipped. You're feared. And not even deeply.
Feared enough. Feared by nations. Feared by gods in capes and men in masks. You can quote your revolution like scripture, but none of it changes the fact that you'd trade every word you've spoken to feel what I feel when a city trembles just because I showed up.
No, I wouldn't. Because I don't measure legacy in tremors. I measure it in what endures after the collapse. You'd trade 10 cities for one good headline. I'd trade my life for a single man to rise from the dust and stand. That's where you and I diverge. You build obedience. I build revolt.
And revolt dies in silence. You talk of standing, but how many rose after you fell? I've broken necks faster than your cause-inspired hearts. You think you're fire in the dark. You're a whisper in the storm. Me, I am the storm. And storms aren't meant to be understood. They're meant to be feared.
Then be feared. But understand, storms pass. And when they do, all that's left is the damage. People rebuild. They remember who stood with them, not above them. You'll never be remembered for your victories, only your aftermath. And when the fear fades, who will you be when no one's looking?
Someone you could never touch. That's who. You're right. I don't care if they remember. I only care if they depend. Let them rebuild. I'll hover overhead, because when the next threat comes, they'll beg for me. Not you, not your revolution. Me. Because they know I don't wait for permission. I act.
Acting without restraint is not leadership. It's compulsion. You don't choose power. It consumes you. The most dangerous thing about you isn't your strength. It's how little you understand it. You think flight makes you untouchable. But the higher you float, the easier it is to forget that even gods can fall.
And they fall because they hesitate. You love that idea, don't you? That the mighty should question themselves, that we should feel shame. I don't. I own who I am. No guilt, no crisis, just presence. You want doubt, I want results. And results, big guy, that's why I'm still here, and you're in a chair.
You're still here because you've never faced a foe who wasn't afraid to die. That's your blind spot. You think fear is universal? It isn't. I stood in front of armies who wanted nothing but to end me, because they believed in something greater than pain. You've never tasted that, have you? Purpose that doesn't serve you.
Purpose is for the powerless. They cling to it like a blanket. I don't need it. I am the reason. I'm not a symbol. I'm the solution. You want people to rise. I want them to survive. If that makes me a monster, then fine. Better a monster they fear than a martyr they forget.
Then be feared. Be monstrous. But know that your reign will be measured not in victories, but in silence. In the way people flinch when they say your name. That is not legacy, that is a warning. You don't lead nations, Homelander. You haunt them. And nothing haunted ever holds the future.
Legacy is a fantasy. I'm not building monuments. I'm writing instinct into every soul on this planet. They'll fear the sky for generations. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's how I win. Not by being loved, not by being remembered, but by making sure no one ever tries to replace me.
You won't need replacing. One day they'll wake up and simply stop looking up. Your shadow will vanish not in death, but irrelevance. Because fear doesn't raise monuments. It digs graves, and history buries tyrants beneath the feet of those they underestimated. You won't be overthrown, Homelander. You'll be forgotten. And that is the real death.
Let them forget. I'll still be watching, long after your bones rot under revolutions that never came. Because deep down, every man, woman, and child knows. If the sky opens and they see me, they'll kneel. Not out of hope, not out of love, but because they know I am the end of the argument.